Manchester City have their balls back. Now, I don't mean literally, like, Sheikh Mansour's decided to fork out for a bag of actual physical footballs so the players can actually have something to train with. I don't think that's the case, but if that has been the case, then no wonder we've been absolutely crap this season. No wonder, but that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about figurative balls, cojones, attitude. Manchester City are showcasing that and then some. They did it against Chelsea. Going 1-0 down against Chelsea was a very difficult circumstance to find yourself in, but we turned that situation round. We did exactly the same thing against Club Brugge last night, and lately Manchester City have been conceding a goal and then very quickly conceding a second goal and potentially a third, and in PSG's case a fourth. So I do think it's a time to look for positives, because it's very easy this season. We see a lot of City fans searching for the negatives because it generates clicks, doesn't it? A lot of negative circumstances around the football club. Obviously you get rival fans that they're obviously going to lap up all the negativity around Manchester City. I mean, off the field circumstances with the 1-1-5, Pep Guardiola's personal life, on the pitch circumstances for Manchester City have not been exactly top notch this season compared to previous seasons. But this is the moment where I think we need to start looking for positives, because there were definitely positives in that performance yesterday, namely in the second half. But there are still negatives in there. So I'm not being blind. I'm not turning a blind eye to the problems, because the problems are still there. We have a lot to work on. The chances that we conceded, as you can see with the stats on your screen now, we conceded a lot of chances yesterday. But we created a fair number as well. We knew exactly what the score was going to be in terms of what we had to do, not literally what the score was going to be, because, we're not magicians. But I do think the Manchester City side showcased a very good attitude in that second half against Club Brugge, coming on and changing the game. I think Pep Guardiola's been making mistakes as well. There's another concern. I think he shouldn't have started Hushinov against Chelsea. I don't think he should have started Phil Foden on the left yesterday. So 2 mistakes in 2 games from Pep Guardiola, but they were both rectified quickly after half-time against Chelsea and on the half-time mark against Club Brugge. So Pep's at least not showing that stubbornness, and he's going, yep, mistake made, I've got it wrong, need to change it. And he's changed it. That's what good managers do. He changed it, he fixed it, we won the game. So that's the bottom line. But anyway, I do think there were some good performances in there yesterday. So let's have a quick look at the player ratings. Let's start with Ederson. Could he have saved that first goal? It's very easy to say Ortega would have saved that, because no one's going to be able to disprove that sentence. You can't prove me wrong by me saying Ortega should have saved that. But I do feel like Ortega possibly could have done a bit better with that. But you can't ignore the second half performance from Ederson, because, again, I thought the saves weren't exactly convincing, but a save is a save. Do you know what I mean? He kept the ball out the back of the net, and that's his job at the end of the day. I think his distribution wasn't exactly called upon quite to the extent it was against Chelsea, but it was going up against a different defensive approach. Chelsea were going man-to-man, whereas Club Brugge were going for the halfway line block, a little bit more of a deeper, lower block. So we weren't seeing any of those long balls over the top of a high line that we saw against Chelsea. So as you can see, Ederson's numbers aren't exactly high when it comes to distribution, because he wasn't called upon. But he pulled off some good saves in the second half that kept the game in Manchester City's favour. So yeah, reasonable from Ederson. Stones. I'm giving him man of the match. A very under-the-radar performance from John Stones yesterday. 2 assists for a start. 2 assists for John Stones. He played in midfield. 4 key passes. Attacking numbers here are absolutely fantastic for John Stones. I thought he was brilliant yesterday, having watched the game back now. And he created a big chance. He did miss one. He missed a stinker. I was pretty pissed off with that one. Can't lie, because that was right after half time. You're thinking, here we go. Well, that was the moment. It felt like that could have been a big moment. And you saw his celebrations to Kovacic's goal as well, because it was like, yes, thank God my chance that I've missed hasn't come back to bite me. And now we've got an opportunity, because Kovacic scored almost 5 minutes later after John Stones' header at the beginning of the second half goes wide of the mark. But outside of that moment for John Stones, he played really, really well. And he's showing that level of maturity that you're not going to see from Hushinov yet. You're not going to see it from Hayes either when he plays. We haven't even seen that yet, He's John Stones. He reminded us yesterday exactly what he's capable of, and I'm so pleased to see it. You just want to see him fit now for the rest of the season. A fit John Stones, for me, should be playing as often as possible, certainly in the big games. That's the debate, though. Is he going to get the minutes because of is his body going to let him down, or is his legs going to fail him? That's so disappointing, because what a player he is, and he showcased it yesterday. A really mature, high-quality performance from John Stones yesterday, so I've given him man of the match. Let me know in the comments if you disagree and who you'd give it man of the match. But anyway, moving on. Akanji. Quiet game, very good ball retention. I think that you can see that with the numbers. That moment in the beginning of the first half was alarming. Again, you don't know who to blame really there with Mateus Nunes or Akanji. I'd probably edged towards Akanji because there was that moment where there was a ball coming down the left-hand side and Akanji and Nunes both go for the same aerial duel. Neither of them win it because they both end up crashing into each other and it's flicked on over the top of both of their heads, and all of a sudden we've got a 2-on-1 situation which Josko Gvardiol did very well to deal with. Moments later, there's sort of similar situations were happening, but that was in the first couple of minutes of the game. So Akanji's shown little moments of panic, not as quite as composed, but I felt like after that he settled. After that, you're not seeing many defensive numbers for all of the defenders you're about to see. You don't see many tackles, ground duels. Look at the number of ground duels for John Stones. Look at the ground duels for Akanji, Gvardiol, Nunes. There weren't that many, to be fair, so they weren't being called upon. But yeah, quiet game for Akanji. Gvardiol, solid performance again. Defensively sound, okay. Couple of moments that he last man at the back, he dealt with that reasonably well. But more prominently from Josko Gvardiol was his confidence on the ball. He's just getting better and better. Week in, week out, he showed that quality on the ball once again. I think there's more to come. from Josko Gvardiol. I really believe that this is just the beginning of Josko Gvardiol's story. Wearing a Manchester City shirt, I think he's going to become an absolute worldie of a player. We forget how young he is. What a player he's becoming. He got off to a rocky start at City, but there was always those signs, similar to Savinho. Nothing dazzling from Savinho, but the signs are there. There's positive signs from there, like Gvardiol at the start of his Manchester City career. And now we're starting to see him blossom into a genuine, proper player. Brilliant from Gvardiol. Nunes. You can't ignore the big mistake. Big error for the goal. But, I mean, he's got the most tackles won. He won the most tackles out of everybody in the Manchester City side. He's got a last man tackle as well, which is not easy. He's just got to pick his moments, man. He's playing out of position. I feel for the guy. I still believe there's a future for Mateus Nunes. And people are writing him off already. And I think it's pretty harsh considering he's shown a level of versatility that not many football players can do. He's played central midfield this season. He's played right wing. He's played left wing. And he's played right back. There's not many players that can do that, I'm afraid. So as much as the mistake yesterday is clearly his fault, and he cannot do that, and he's done it all too often this season, he has to learn. He needs to learn quick. But I still believe in him, I appreciate what he offers. A certain level of pace that we don't have much of in this squad. A level of strength. He's just got to pick those moments when he's going flying into tackles like that, because he gave a penalty away against United, same again against Sporting Lisbon, and he gave he gave an opportunity for Solis, I think it was, who skipped past him for that opportunity to create Club Brugge's first goal. And I mean, yeah, he needs to do better in that situation. He needs to learn, and he needs to learn quick. Absolutely, Nunes. Gundogan came off at half-time. I thought he was playing all right. I thought he was playing pretty well in the first half. He obviously had that offside goal ruled out with a lovely little flick-on header by Bernardo Silva. I loved that header, by the way. Showed real awareness of what was going on around him. But yeah, he played very high up the pitch. He was almost ahead of Haaland for a lot of that period of the first half. And I don't think he came off as a "you've been playing badly," so Pep whipping the leash and punishing him and bringing him off. I think it was just tactical. It was a case of getting Foden in the middle, who on form is the better of the two out of Gundogan and Foden. So I think it was a wise move for Pep to make that choice. I wouldn't have had a problem if De Bruyne came off, because I thought he had a bit of a stinker of a first half. I'll get onto De Bruyne in a minute, but I thought Gundogan, out of Gundogan and De Bruyne, Gundogan had the better first half, I thought. So I was a little surprised to see him out of the two to be the one who's hooked. But it was the correct decision tactically from Pep Guardiola to bring on Savinho. But yeah, Gundogan, he's also shown signs of improvement in recent weeks. So I'm pleased to see Gundogan getting better. He's definitely getting better. Kovacic, I love him. Absolutely love the guy. What a goal, mate. What a goal. It's just like grabbing the game by the scruff of the neck and saying, right, I'll do it myself, lads. I'll show you how to do this. And all this tippy-tappy passing, as people like to call it, ticky-tacky, like, oh, fuck this, do it myself. Just smash my way right through the spine of Club Brugge's midfield, get to the edge of the area and just pass it into the bottom corner, mate. There, job done. 1-1. The catalyst to Manchester City's comeback yesterday. And it's not just that moment that I'm talking about as a positive performance, because he was so composed. He is vital to Manchester City for the rest of the season. He is one player we cannot afford to lose. If we lose him, you can write off this season, and our chances of getting into the top four plummet. Not necessarily over, but certainly in Champions League chances, gone, absolutely gone, if we were to lose Kovacic for the rest of the season. And I mean, FA Cup, again, you're hoping for the luck of the draw. So important to see what Kovacic is bringing to this side. So I'm really, really pleased that his Manchester City career is blossoming. It's blossoming. You're wondering if he's going to get those same minutes next season when Rodri's fit. and probably drop down to being more of a squad rotation player. But what a squad rotation player he'll prove to be. Absolutely. Foden, not his greatest game yesterday. A little bit of Pep needs to take the blame for that, because I felt like he played him out left, which is weird considering midweek Gareth Southgate said what he said. No, sorry, the other way around. Foden said what he said about Gareth Southgate and how he played him out wide and didn't enjoy that. And little comment there from Foden to suggest that he doesn't like playing on that left wing. And then Pep's like, all right, I'll show you, mate. Left wing, mate. Get out there. Do you know what I mean? Fair play to Says, their right back, by the way. I was waxing lyrical about him yesterday. I thought it was a fantastic defensive performance from Says, their little blonde right back. He was brilliant. I thought he was fantastic. No one was getting past him. Foden in particular, he was pocketed. He pocketed him. Struggled to get past him. And when he did, the cross wasn't good enough from Phil Foden either. A lot of wayward crosses that were coming into the box in that first half. Second half, he comes into the middle. A slight improvement, but not that much from Phil Foden. I think the system looked better when he was there. The overall cohesion to our play improved. As an individual, Phil Foden, though, his game didn't go up to monstrous levels. So there wasn't a massive difference between first half and second half for Phil Foden. Not his greatest game, but I mean, lately he's been definitely back to somewhat recognisable form compared to last season. So again, very pleased with Phil Foden's overall form in the recent weeks. But yesterday, yeah, could have done better. De Bruyne, again, I think the same thing, really. I think De Bruyne could have done better yesterday. Very wayward in terms of his shooting. His shots yesterday were flying all over the place yesterday. But you expect at some point, you're thinking, with Kevin De Bruyne, you're like, okay, pass goes astray, never mind. Pass goes astray, never mind. Shot over the bar, never mind. You're just waiting for that moment where Kevin De Bruyne smacks one into the top corner or threads the eye of a needle and splits the defence wide open, gets himself an assist. Didn't happen yesterday. So even though he definitely improved in the second half, he definitely showed a large amount of improvement in the second half with a good number of key passes as well to his name. So he did improve in that second half. But yeah, still, I think he could have done better. But he was okay. I'm wondering if he'll start when Mamouche is fully available, which he now is for the rest of the season. So you're now wondering if De Bruyne is going to get as many starts with the availability of Marmoush, which is going to be interesting. Let me know in the comments if you think you should be starting Marmoush over Kevin De Bruyne in future games. Bernardo Silva, a very understated performance again from Bernardo Silva. The same as Chelsea. I thought it was that sort of under the radar performance where you don't see that much of him. There's not much to speak about in terms of like standout highlight moments, but it was steady, kept that midfield solid. I thought his defensive contribution against Chelsea was there for all to see. Same again yesterday. He's got really good defensive numbers. He kept things ticking. In fact, look at his pass percentage and do yourself a favour and rewind this whole video and look at all the pass percentages of all of the Manchester City players yesterday. The ball retention from everyone. I think it's only Kevin De Bruyne who dropped into the 80s. And I think Haaland as well, who was in the 80s, which is high for Erling Haaland. But the rest of them, if I remember rightly, Akanji had 99. I'm sure John Stones had like 97. Very good ball retention from everybody yesterday. So there was a definite positive in terms of the control that we had in the game yesterday. But there's still massive room for improvement for everybody. Savinho came on, changed the game. No two ways about it. I haven't given him man of the match. He would have got it had John Stones not bagged 2 assists, because I felt like John Stones' performance was good for the full 90. Obviously, I'm talking about Savinho for 45 minutes, so there's less football to analyse there for Savinho, but he definitely came on and changed the game. He attacked Says, the fullback that pocketed Foden in the first half. He was way more aggressive. He still struggled to get past him, as you can see with the actual number of successful dribbles. But in terms of the actual attempts from Savinho, he was way more aggressive, gave more for Says to think about. He gave him more to do. He often came inside. He threaded a lovely ball inside that inside channel to Josko Gvardiol, who then fires it hard and low across to get the own goal and get Manchester City in the lead. That comes from Savinho, that does. So for me, Savinho, he should have started the game. No two ways about it. Scored the vital third goal as well. He did miss a big chance, which was harsh, to be honest, to go down as a big chance, because it was that rebound from Erling Haaland where he's outside, he's about 25 yards out, and it looks like an easy chance. But to hit that first time with a player on the line who clears it off, if Savinho gets some air on it, it's probably going to be 3-1 Manchester City, game over at that point. But he did make it 3-1 himself eventually, so he redeemed himself for that big chance that he did miss. But yeah, Savinho, really good performance, and took the game by the scruff of the neck, similar to how Kovacic did in that second half. So well played, Savinho. Haaland didn't score, But he worked hard, man. He worked very, very hard. His hold-up play in recent weeks has massively improved. I thought that against Chelsea, and I thought that yesterday. 3 key passes to his name, as you can see. So, very, very good from Erling Haaland. He missed that chance, but how did that chance come about? Erling Haaland, it was a self-made chance. He made that chance himself through just sheer work ethic. He chased him down, he got hold of the defender, said, get off the ball, mate. That's my ball. Bullied him off the ball, took it away. You're thinking he's going to bury it. So he's done the hard work, really, and normally you expect Haaland to finish it. It was a good save by Mignolet with a strong right hand, but still, you expect Haaland to bury that. That was his one and only chance, and it was self-made. So there's the work ethic. I think his hold-up play was good yesterday. If he bagged himself a goal, we'd be waxing lyrical about the performance, but that's what Haaland's on the pitch to do, is to score goals, and he didn't do that, so his score can't be that high. But yeah, Rico Lewis, he played for 9 minutes. I think my rule is anything over 10 minutes, and I'm gonna analyse you. Anything under 10 minutes feels a bit harsh to be grading you for 9 minutes of football, because that's all that Rico Lewis played. Very little to speak about for Rico Lewis, but lots to speak about for Manchester City in terms of the future now. We turned a corner? There's definitely improvements from this Manchester City side compared to that little November-December spell that we went through that was an absolute disaster class. We are so much better than that right now. Still the same old problems rear their ugly heads for this Manchester City side. The amount of openness to our defence at times, but we had to go open yesterday because we needed to win the game. It's going to be interesting to see at the weekend if we can do the same against Arsenal. Are they going to finally decide to attack a Manchester City side? Because the last few times we've played them, it's been a horrible, horrible, disgusting game with a low block and Arsenal trying to sucker punch us. They've got to take the game to us. They need to beat us. They need to attack us. And we're vulnerable right now, so you expect Arsenal to attack us. It could be an incredibly exciting game with lots and lots of goals, because Arsenal have been shipping goals lately. We obviously have as well. So it's going to be exciting. I will be doing a watch along as well, so come and join me for that one. But yeah, great game yesterday. Great to see Manchester City into the knockout stages. But yeah, Real Madrid or Bayern next. Whoops. Oh dear. Blues, let me know your thoughts. Like and subscribe to Typical City, and I'll see you in the next one.
This is Typical City.